everybody, and welcome back. I am the Sovereign, and this is my court. If this is your first time in attendance, hello. Please consider hitting the subscribe button before you leave our kingdom. Welcome to another edition of the Court Council. I have not done a court council in a while because my court and my kingdom have been preoccupied with the coronations of our new queens. Yes, we are living a full fantasy kingdom life over here. It sounds so cool, right? But it's all true. If you want to participate in our Discord, find me on Instagram. All the links are in the description box below. I spend a lot of time on YouTube. I spend a lot of time on YouTube, and I'm a very naturally curious person. So I tend to peruse different areas of the internet just out of sheer curiosity. I guess I never grew out of it. So while I was in the gym one day, I came across this video that we're going to talk about by this person. The channel name of this person is Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. Fitting. It just came up on my, playlist, and the video automatically started playing. And as I was listening to it, I was like, what the hell is this? What can I say? This channel and me, it's a match made in hell. Through perusing his channel before I decided to go through with making this video, these are the titles of some of his previous videos. Alpha Male Strategies. AMS and MTR discuss delusional women, financial freedom, and men's purpose. Another video is Feminists Leverage Victimhood to Control Men. I asked this married woman, why are so many modern women delusional? Modern women don't want to address that marriage is outdated because divorce benefits them more. Just to give you a roundabout kind of understanding of the type of content this person puts out. This man that runs Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews, I am just so in love with that channel name. This man seems to be a part of the Red Pill Society. If you are unaware of the Red Pill, Blue Pill thing, I actually came across it while I was just being curious on the internet months and months prior when I first started being on Reddit and reading Reddit stuff. I was looking into incels because I'm curious. I was looking into incels and what incels were because I'm almost an incel. Technically, I'm a voluntary celibate because I don't have the patience for dating. I just don't. But I came across the incels, and then I ran into the whole red pill thing. So if you don't know what the red pill discussion, red pill people are, which this man definitely is, it's almost a form of male enlightenment. It's discussing the perspective of men in society and almost how society is against men. But basically, I'm going to put it in more basic terms. If you want to do the research yourself, you can. Basic terms, red pillars is just a new age form of misogyny. That's what it is. It's not really that they're bringing an enhanced, enlightened, raised form of discussion. The discussions that they're having frequently come around putting down women and the issues that they face. Let me just read the first thing that I found on the internet about this whole red pill thing, just so you guys really get a sense of what I'm talking about here. The name derives, as I said, from a scene in the 1999 film The Matrix, in which Lauren Fishburne offers Keanu Reeves a choice. You take the blue pill and the story ends. You wake up in bed and you believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. The rabbit hole, in this case, is the reality that women run the world without taking responsibility for it, and that their male victims are not permitted to complain. This makes the red pill a continuous, multifaceted, up-to-the-minute male complaint at the heart of the so-called manosphere, a network of websites preoccupied with both the men's rights movements and how to pick up women, which is pretty accurate from when I was kind of taking a fleeting interest in the subject. They kind of used this as a complaint form against women while at the same time giving each other advice on how to pick up women. It's very weird. So this man seems to be a part of that club. I have to talk about this because I'm going to flex a little bit about my audience. I have such an educated, amazing audience, and my audience, honestly, is a majority of men. A majority of men who support women. Obviously, I talk about pageants a lot, and a lot of the men are men that support women, and the women that we love are women's rights activists. They're feminists. They are our current Miss Universe, Andrea Mezza, is an advocate against violence towards women. Like, this is very much a women's empowerment channel, even though obviously I will empower anyone who need be empowered. I am obviously aware that men do face certain issues. That is not to be disputed. You know, society loves to strip men of emotions and say, you know, they're not supposed to be expressive. I know, and I'm very much aware that men truly do face hardships that deserve to be discussed, but not in the way that this person that we're going to look at is discussing them. This person seems to think that it's okay to demean and debase women, especially when it comes to issues that are very serious. So let's actually get into this video. I think I've talked enough and just hear what he has to say. I have not seen the whole thing. I heard like 5 minutes and my ears were bleeding, but good luck that you make it through.
Video that he uploaded today, being a protector. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this content creator, what he does is he goes out in the streets of Vegas and he asks these very interesting questions. So let's review. Without further ado.
Why is it okay for women to feel entitled to being protected and provided for, but it is wrong for men to feel entitled to sex and intimacy?
Because we live in a double standard world.
Facts.
Why is male sexuality so stigmatized?
Because we live in a double standard world.
That's because there's a double standard out here. These women, unfortunately, are taking over.
I think the honest truth to this question is just because of the reputation guys have, which I mean isn't fair because a lot of guys aren't, you know, like what their reputation holds up to as guys, and I don't think that's fair to like hold girls up to reputations as well. But yeah, I think the reputation of like guys being, you know, horny or sleeping with any women.
That's fair. I feel like if women are entitled to be provided for, that men should be entitled to have a good sex life with their woman.
I'm sorry. Okay, look, see, first question out the gate. You see what I was talking about? Do you feel it? Ladies, do you feel it? Men, do you feel it? Because my men over on this channel, like, I'm sure because most of you are very educated and you know what's wrong with this, most of y'all are already seething. So you know why I felt like I had to talk about this. The question was, why do women feel entitled to be protected, but men shouldn't feel entitled to sex? Huh? Let me just break this down for the nincompoops who don't understand how life works. You're not entitled to a person's body. That's number one. Saying someone is entitled to protection and entitled to sex, one of those things requires physical contact and the other does not. Number two, no one's technically entitled to being protected by anyone, like at all, unless you're maybe a police officer. No one's entitled to be protected. But most people do it and feel like it should be done because that's just basic human decency. That's basic. Protecting another human being is basic common decency. Sexual intercourse is not. Sexual intercourse is not a part of our society that feels like it should be given or owed to the rest of the members of society. But the rest of the members of society should feel entitled to being protected on some level by their peers. Do you not see the issue here? What? Are we really trying to justify why men should be entitled to sex? Entitled to it, though. Like, is it that hard for some of y'all to just be decent human beings? Hell, I have protected. I have gotten off my motorcycle just to make sure a dog made it across the street safely. Like, that's something that I extend to animals. You're comparing that to sex, though?
Okay, why do you think male sexuality is so stigmatized?
Control.
Because the media shows a lot of what men do outside of, like, you know, a healthy relationship and things like that. And we tend to follow.
I do not think male sexuality is stigmatized. I think that has to do with the men and the men you hang around with. You can't point fingers at women for the way you and your boys act when you want to express yourself sexually, because most women, I will tell you, have no problem with it, boo-boo. It's you and your friends who want to talk down about the rest of your male friends who want to be expressive. That's a male misogynistic issue that you need to ask your male friends the next time you go to the barbershop.
Follow the media and stuff.
If women expect men to pay for sex, why don't men expect women to pay for bodyguards?
Give this man's questions a round of applause. What a fantastic question. I got to see the brother's answer.
Are you dumb? You are dumb as shit. You can kiss my ever-leveling ass for that. I'm sorry. This is about to be one hell of a video. The man said, this video. The man said, if women expect men to pay for sex, why don't men expect women to pay for bodyguards or something? First of all, why are y'all paying for sex? Y'all doing that? Is that something that is normal to you? Because I would say most of the men that I know who are good men can't relate. But what I'm thinking he's implying is that through paying for dinners and everything, they're insinuating by paying for dinners and paying for like dates and stuff, they're paying for sex, which that means you're only doing nice thing for the women because you think you're going to get something out of it, not because you're actually a nice human being. That's troublesome, because I think that if you told that to the women you are luckily to be dating, if you are dating at all anybody who's behaving like this, I highly doubt it. But if you were to tell the women that that's what you thought you were doing, I don't think that she would require that of you anymore. But then they said, we should expect women to pay for bodyguards. So you're telling me you have to be incentivized to be a decent human being. That's what you're telling me. You're saying, if you're not giving me sex, you don't deserve to be protected. Y'all are disgusting. Disgusting. I have protected other people's children and grandparents and pets for no reason other than that I'm a good person, which I never thought was a flex before. Like, I would never be like, I'm a good person, because I automatically assume that everybody's a good person. But apparently, y'all are not. Y'all have to be incentivized not to be assholes. What the hell is...
What a fantastic question.
What a
brother's answer.
That's a good question. I think
It's a great question.
if you can combine the two, if I'm paying a woman to have sex, then I'm also guarding her body while I'm doing it to protect us. So I should also be compensated for my activities.
Excuse me? You're being compensated with the act of intercourse, first of all. You're lucky to be having sex with her. If you're paying to have sex, she's giving you a service by allowing you to invade her personal space and privacy. What do your services? Your services? She's the one rendering the service technically. That's why you're paying for it. But furthermore, y'all make it sound like all women are prostitutes. Okay? And I mean, if you're going to a woman who's a legit prostitute, then that's a totally different thing. But to act like you're paying all women for sex, like, y'all don't deserve to date anybody. Y'all don't deserve to date don't even look at women. We don't need you. The men that think like this, trust me, we don't need you. We don't want you. Date each other.
I say it all the time. You know, there's nothing wrong with the complete understanding that you're exchanging buns for guns. You know what I'm saying?
Does love have to last in order to be worthwhile?
Yes.
If everyone lived to be 1,000 years old, how likely would people never get sick of their partner?
Not never.
They would get sick of their partner.
So then why should love last if people are more likely to get sick of their partner?
Well, just because you get sick of your partner doesn't mean that the love's not there.
Okay, see, now they're asking just bullshit questions just for the sake of it. Because if everybody were to live to 1,000, I'm pretty sure our system of relationships and marriage and cohabitation and parenting would be entirely different. So the question is just completely invalid without the context. Our structural system of marriage and union would be entirely different if there were such a lengthy time span that people were living. So asking this question is insane, because I'm pretty sure that if human beings were to live to be 1,000, the structure that most people inherently think of, that is marriage right now, would not exist. There would be some sort of official union partnership, but a full-on monogamous, lengthy, lifelong marriage likely wouldn't exist. But we don't live in a society where people are faced with that decision because we don't live to be 1,000. They're pulling questions directly out of their ass and then expecting to apply it to real life situations when that's not the world that we live in.
Why are men...
I don't know. That's a really hard question. Because
no, it's not a hard question. You're just stupid. You're just stupid.
Men taught how to treat women, but women aren't taught how to treat men.
What? This man said, Why are men taught how to treat women, but women aren't taught how to treat men? But you're over here asking these questions in this video right now as if you know something. Let me breathe. Because the thing that kills me in my spirit is that this man thinks that his knowledge of how to treat women is specific just to women. Like the common courtesies of protecting a woman and opening doors and kind of being nice. I would like to let you men know. Those aren't traits about how to treat a woman. Those are traits about how to be a decent human being. That's not education on how to treat women specifically. That's your mother showing you how not to be an asshole, okay? Y'all know nothing about truly how to treat a woman. If you did, you wouldn't be sitting here making this video. And I think, especially with me having such an international audience, the people from international countries are losing their minds right now because it is conventionally known throughout the world, women are put through much more extensive training on how to be a mother and a housewife and a caretaker, way more than a man is taught how to be a husband. Most men, all they think being a husband or a boyfriend or whatever is making money and providing food and maybe shelter or something, and don't beat your wife, because apparently men like this seem to think not beating women is a luxury and that they think that that makes them a good man. I don't beat my wife, therefore I am a good man. No, sir. That means you're not an asshole. You're still at bare minimum. You may not be sub-zero, but you're still at nothing, okay? Because that's the basic expectation, is that you will be a decent person. But learning how to take care of a woman is learning her emotions and being there when she needs you. It doesn't have everything to do with money. When women ask for protection and for you to provide, it's to provide that comfort, that safety and companionship. Everything's not monetary. Who are you dating? But as I was saying, most of my international audience is well aware women are taught from birth, okay? Our baby dolls, we are given baby dolls with a little cradle. We are taught from birth how to provide and take care of a baby and a child and how to clean up. And they give us little cute kitchen sets so that we learn how to be a cute little homemaker when we're 4 years old. People's mothers. I remember I was dating a man and he was Peruvian, and his mom was showing me how to like make certain foods, because you have to make sure you know how to feed a man and clean his house and all that stuff. And I will say I am much more of a traditional woman than most women are. If I love you, look y'all, if I love you, if I'm in love with you, I will give you the world. I don't give a damn what anybody has to say. My man's dinner, like I will make you dinner, not every night, okay? Don't think I'm about to be about over here being Betty Crocker constantly. I have to work. I'm a working independent woman. But when I love somebody, I want to care and provide for them. But that's not something that I should be forced to do. That's not something a man should feel entitled to. But to sit here and be like, men are taught how to treat women, when and where? When and where? Ladies, put it in the comment section if you ever met a man that was taught how to treat a woman, because that is very, very rare. Very rare. You do not know how to care for a woman, not truly. I'm not talking about provide money. I mean truly care for her. You guys do not know. You know how many times I've been on the internet and I've seen men over here cracking jokes about how unimportant anniversaries and birthdays and Valentine's Day, like y'all don't give a shit. You weren't taught. You do not know how to provide or entice a woman to even date you. Y'all don't even know how to plan a goddamn date. Where are little boys being given little girl dolls and showing how to take care of a little girl? Where? Please show me. Please show me where that is at. In what culture? Name a culture. Even Western cultures. Name a culture where it is not ingrained in society that little girls and women are not told or taught how to treat men. Men, if you haven't experienced it, it's because you don't deserve it, okay? That's the only thing that's different, especially in Western societies. Women know how to do it, but we just don't want to do it for you because a lot of you don't know how to treat us properly. I'm not giving you nothing. I'm not giving you homemade baked macaroni and cheese. I'm not giving you a damn thing if you don't know how to care for me properly. I do know how to cook and clean. Not for you, though.
It depends on who raised you.
Somebody not raising them right. That's the problem.
How should women treat men?
Supposed to treat men like not only your equal, but as your king. Like you want to impress your partner no matter what. You can't.
That is correct. You want to impress your partner no matter what. Whether it be a man or a woman, you want to take care of the person that you love because that's what it means to love them. It is equal. Men seem to feel like they're entitled to something that they don't give women, because it's very rare that I see people treating their women the way Prince Harry treats Meghan Markle. That man dotes on her. Most men make fun of other men for being that attentive to their girlfriends. So that just proves you guys truly do not give your girl what you know she deserves because you're afraid of being a simp. And that's a you problem. But don't blame us for not giving you what you think you deserve if you do not reciprocate.
If women want to be the center of a man's world and not second place to his wife, why would a man want to date a single mom and be second place to her kids?
How are you equating the two? How are you equating the two? You are equating a woman being second to another woman to a man coming second to a woman's children. Those are not equal. How is it that I'm sitting here explaining that? Coming second to a man's wife. Number one, I don't come number two. That's number one. Number one is I don't come number two. I would, like most women are looking at this like, I can't believe this was even a question, because most women are not about to be second place to any man, regardless of if it's a wife, a girlfriend, a baby mama, whatever. But to equate that to a woman who has kids, who that's a part of her, that's part of her family. That's not, the other man is cheating, okay? He's with two somebodies that he shouldn't be. He should be with one woman and pick one. One of those women he can let go of. One of those women he shouldn't have. One of those women should not be present. You cannot say that about the women's children. Now, because I do, look at both sides, and I am around the internet. I do listen to men's channels sometimes, no matter how ridiculous they've gotten. I have listened to Kevin Samuels, and though I know a lot of people don't like him because he is pretty abrasive and he speaks in a way that is not constructive to a good conversation. He's a bit brash for no reason. He's a bit mean for no reason. But he has made a point when it comes to women and their expectations when they've already had kids. Because if you look from a male perspective, I understand why that's going to be an issue. So women making demands of men who have no children themselves, but women are bringing children into a relationship, they have to understand that that is a weight that is going to weigh on their partner. And a lot of women, for whatever reason, seem oblivious to this. But that's not to say that women who have kids are completely undateable or unworthy or something. And I would expect any partner, regardless of if you're married and have kids and you both have kids together, or if you're separated and you've had kids with other people and then you come together, whatever, your partner necessarily shouldn't feel like they come number two to the kids. They should still feel like a valid part of the relationship. Your relationship doesn't necessarily need to take a back seat. So there I can defend men, is I understand why they would be hesitant to date a woman with kids, because you don't know what her mental capacity is to be able to properly make you feel like a valid member of her already established family. That is a valid concern for men, but that's not to say that women aren't capable of integrating you in a meaningful way in the family and not make you feel second place. I have been a step parent. I have been in a relationship long-term with a man who had a child, and I can honestly say I will never again date a man with a child. Sorry, I won't do it. I won't do it because I don't like the disrespect that comes along with being a step parent, and I don't want to feel like I'm second place, and I don't want to fight your baby mama. That's what I'm not going to do, because when I love you, and I will I will destroy her. I am not nice when it comes to the people I love. So I know that that's just not a situation that is a good place for me. It's likely going to land me in prison, so I just can't date a man that has kids, but I understand the hesitation on that.
He needs to leave the wife and be with me. I can't be second. And
this is just proof that they just really got did you guys just go out at 2:00 in the morning when all the bars closed and everybody was leaving their club hop bar crawl on their way home half drunk, and you just asked these people these questions? Because these questions are insane and honestly hardly make any sense whatsoever. It's total fabrication.
Baggage, right?
Right.
And so my point is, I mean, either way, in both relationships, you're competing with somebody else. Mm-hmm. You're not getting that partner's undivided attention.
I don't believe that men feel that they would be competing with children. I don't think that they would be.
Yes,
men can shut up about their competition with women's children, though, as far as I'm concerned. I don't have kids, but either way, I can tell you to shut up. Because as a woman, I can say most of us have to compete with your friends or your attachment with your mother because you never cut the umbilical cord, all right? Address your own problems first, thank you.
Do women have a right to be afraid of men when 80% of all violent crime is done by men?
Nah. Reason being, a crime could be done by anybody, even though, like you said, 80% is done by men. It could still be done by anybody. So you should be equally, not even afraid, aware of that. Someone can commit this crime if they wanted to.
Well, see, it's 80% can be done by men, but what are the percentage that are protected by men as well, right? So there's a lot of people that would hear him say that and just say, well, damn, all the men are doing this. Men ain't shit. Men are trash. But then who's also doing the protecting on the other side of the equation as well? You got to get the full scope of these questions.
This man said, well, you shouldn't be afraid that 80% of the violent crimes committed against you are men, because there's a likelihood that a man might protect you. So yeah, you're probably going to be attacked, but you always have that chance of being protected by a man, so you're safe. That's like me going outside in a war zone, knowing that there is a very high likelihood that I'm going to get shot. And everybody's saying, you don't need to wear a bulletproof vest because there's kind of a likelihood that a man might jump in front of the bullet for you. Huh? Give me my vest, please. You see what these questions make, and this man, he's about to justify this. Well, yeah, I mean, yes, but you have to look at the rate of protection though. Like, yeah, we commit the crimes, but we might protect you from the crimes. Boy, please.
Are men the biggest threat to women, or are men the biggest protectors of women?
I mean, both. Like, the women can walk down the street and be catcalled, and that's not okay, and that's very threatening. But also, like, you could have your husband who protects you and does things for you. So men could play either role. It depends how they act.
That's what I was saying
Aren't
earlier.
most cops and soldiers men?
I think so.
Aren't most...
Okay, no, shut up. Like, just see, the level of incompetence being displayed so confidently in these videos is stunning to me. It's stunning to me because now, number one, comparably, protection versus predatorish behavior or abuse, men are much larger, much more likely to be an abuser of women than a protector, because the people that we would most likely look towards for protection, i.e. our boyfriends and husbands, people of that sort of connections, statistically are the men that are perpetrating the harm to women. The rates of domestic violence throughout the entire community. It's not just like United States. I'm talking about the world, which most of us who are pageant fans are well aware because the women speak about it all the time. The men that these men over here, these idiots, think would protect us are most likely the ones causing us harm. And then he brought up the military and police, and you're equating that's their job, sir. That is their job. That is not willful, self-put protection. That's something that these people are being forced to do. That's not people going out of their way to be like, we want to protect women and save women. That's people you have to physically pick up the phone and call to protect you. It's not like they magically appear because they care about you so much. It's not that they have a LoJack on you because they're secretly watching you, unless you live in China, then maybe they're doing that. But they're using people whose job it is to protect women and saying this is willful protection, which it is not. The violence perpetuated by men towards women is willful. That's something they're not being paid to do. That's something they go out of their way to do. You cannot equate the two. And just to further supplement this from a woman's empowerment advocate who pays attention to the queens that I love, the people who are truly going out of their ways to empower and protect women are other women. The advocacies, the groups that have been established, the homes that bring domestic violence women and their children into safe spaces have been produced and held and put together and run by women. And that is not to say that we do not have a significant amount of men that have our back. Absolutely, and this channel is full of them. It's full of them. But that is not to say that the people that are perpetuating the violence towards women are likely the people that we are looking to for protections, like our fathers. I've seen entire stories of fathers who killed their daughters for having boyfriends, for boyfriends who killed their girlfriends because she wanted to break up. A person from India sent me this heartbreaking video of a woman being killed in broad daylight by her separated spouse, her husband, because she would not quit her job at a hospital. And I'm talking the full video. That man found her because she wouldn't quit her jobs, and she was living at his parents' house, and he went and found her after work and killed her. She spent 5 minutes trying to fend this man off, and he was stabbing her with a knife in a street in India while upwards of 10 other men sat there and filmed it on their phones, peeking out of doors and windows, standing next to her, and watched this man murder his wife in broad daylight. It is the men that we look to for protection that are likely the ones that are harming us. Brothers, fathers, spouses, boyfriends, all that. So this line of questioning is bullshit.
Would you trust a female cop to stop a sexual assault?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then why are men expected to be protectors if women are just as capable of having that protector
So
role?
I keep saying this.
Because it's called common human decency. I'm sure maybe you haven't heard of it, okay? Maybe you just don't know, okay? Because it really clearly seems like you're just not aware that is called common human decency, the need to protect another human being, man or woman. Women have the capability to protect other women, and most women do. When they have the ability, they will do whatever they can to protect another woman. So it's not just that men are expected to be protectors. They're expected to just be decent human beings. That's basically what you're getting at here.
You were catcalling women, and no women ever come and walk across the street and say, "Oh, what's up? I heard you whistle at me. What's up?" Or if you sending eggplant pictures and you get seen and blocked time and time, or you're in their comments with the peach asses and the squirt emojis, and you never get responses. And this is the participation trophy culture, in my opinion. Okay? People getting awarded for just showing up and performing poorly. All right? You have to take a look at your actions. Your actions, what were the...
So like I said in the beginning of this video, these type of men who are pretty much misogynists, it's almost like they don't realize how much they are demeaning and degrading women, whilst also trying to give advice on how to get said women. And a lot of them wonder why they have such a low success rate. And then they like to blame women for not liking them. And it's like they don't realize that they're perpetuating their own lack of success. Like, you're pissing yourself off because every time you fail, you think it's our fault, when truly it's you for listening to stuff like this.
If a woman is attacked in public and a man is attacked in public, who do you think is more likely to be rescued?
A woman.
Ooh,
why are you hesitating?
That's hard too. I think, obviously, in my opinion, I feel like it's kind of obvious. A girl is more likely to just...
Look at all the modifiers, okay? Obviously, in my own opinion, a girl would be obvious. You know, all of this modifiers on top of something is...
Okay, here's a non-modifier for you. Yes, a woman is more likely to be protected. Move on.
Just such an easy question to answer. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's modifiers because I think that what happens is that women have fought so long to seek equality. And even as you talk to them about how things are unequal for both men and women, if it's a negative thing that shows that we are not equal, they're not quick.
You guys, like, I don't know why it's so difficult for these, you know, half-brained people to really put this together, but then maybe I answered my own question, okay? So let me put it together for you. Equality means social standing. There should be equality. But there's always going to be an inherent inequality between men and women because of our biology. That is inescapable. And until society finds a way or will to better equate the biology with men and women, we will always be inherently unequal. That is just how our structure. So true equality will never be reached because honestly, we are different beings. We have different builds. We have different needs. We have different biological threats to our health and welfare. Our structures are different. Our bone density is different. So true equality biologically will never be reached. And of course, that's going to be accounted for in the society that we live in. Biology states that women are not capable of doing certain things that men can do. That is just fact. That's just fact. So of course, then our society is going to be very aware to the abilities or inabilities that women may face. That's why that is kind of ingrained in our culture and in our society. That's something that has persisted since the dawn of time. So when men go on the spiel about equality, there's certain inequalities that are always going to linger and must always be accounted for. I don't think it's that difficult to just understand human history. I don't think so.
Just because she's seen as more of like, you know, like the one to get more hurt than a guy because he can kind of protect himself more than a girl. So I would say a guy.
I mean, society has always, you know, perceived men as the providers, as the protectors, as the kind of like solid ground to the family.
And that is something that is due to human physiology and biology. The reason society has always seen men as the protectors and providers is because biologically, men are bigger, stronger, and faster than women. Therefore, they are the ones that are providing the protection because they have more ability to do so. I was taught this in middle school. Some of y'all were skipping class. Like, I don't know what's going on here.
Why are women so afraid to be out in public when they're far more likely to be rescued?
I think.
Who said we're far more likely to be rescued? Who? And furthermore, you want me, a woman, to rely on a random stranger for my protection. That's what you're saying. I shouldn't be afraid because I can rely on somebody that I haven't met and don't know and don't really know if they're going to be there to protect me. Is this your argument? I'm just, what?
And Well, let me ask you this, right? It's hard for me. Why do you think that men are still expected to be protectors when a woman is just as capable of calling the police or firing a gun as a man?
Okay, I'm going to say this just one more time, all right? Firing a gun does not mean you about to hit your target. You might as well throw that gun at that man's face because you probably have a better chance. But to then just be like, well, if women have the same capability to defend themselves as men, that we never made that connection. That was never valid. That their connection was not made. And then they're like, well, why are men still expected to be protectors? We have already established this, okay? Men are expected to be decent human beings and protect another human being, regardless of it being a man or a woman. We kind of do expect that you're going to be a decent human being. Not that we're expecting that you provide protection. We're expecting you to be decent. You can't do bare minimum? And I'm getting pretty sick of this whole thing that as if men are the only ones expected to be protectors. Like, number one, because you have the biological capability to do more damage than a woman, of course people look at men. Like, this is just not that difficult to discern. But I, once again, am not the average woman. I myself have above average capability to protect another human being, regardless of it being a man or a woman assailant. So people are making, like, discerning in their head as if a woman wouldn't do these things. Like, oh, only men are expected to be protectors. If a man is coming at me and women are nearby, I pretty much have faith in those women that they're either going to say something or they're going to call the cops. So saying that the expectation is only on men is far-fetched, to say the least. Maybe they're not drawing the conclusion that if we talk in relationship standpoints, I do expect my boyfriend to stand up for me, but not because he's a man and he's stronger than me. I expect him to stand up for me because he loves me. That's it. That's what you're missing. We're not expecting you to do things simply because you're a man. We're expecting you to do things because, number one, you're a decent human being, and number two, depending on who the woman is, you love her. And that's what you do when you care about somebody. If somebody was attacking your home or your car, I would expect the exact same behavior. So to imply that this is only a privilege extended to women is bullshit.
I thought that last question was extremely fascinating. From my perspective, I think that it requires a masculine man for a woman to be truly within her feminine. And I think that women that can truly be in their feminine and embrace their femininity are the happiest women on the planet if they can consistently do that time and time again.
Honestly, I can agree with that. That's the first thing in this video I can actually agree with. When you guys see me on the channel, I do tend to be a very girly girl. I am a very girly girl, but you also know that I'm very authoritative. I'm very authoritative. I'm a very much a powerful, independent woman. But if given the opportunity to not have to exude that power constantly. If I'm in a relationship, I don't necessarily want to be the one in authority all the time. I don't want to be the one constantly calling the shots. It actually does feel pretty nice to have a partner that makes you feel secure. What he's describing is security. When women feel secure in their relationship with the person that they're with, yes, we do tend to be a bit more subdued and a bit more gentle because we are not so worried. We don't feel like we have to have our walls up. So when our walls come down, we become more gentle. We become more feminine. I don't want to say we become more feminine. We show more of our femininity that was always there. You just are finally getting to see it because we're more comfortable with you. So I would say, yes, that does make women happy. Now, that's not to say that I lose my strength whatsoever, but if you guys ever catch me in a relationship, like, I'm basically a doting little kitty cat. Like, I happily lay my head on my man's lap and I could do that all day, to be totally honest. Like, you guys would be like, strength wear, sis is a puppy dog, because that's what happens when you are truly secure in your relationship. So I can agree with the statement that this man said. Thank God there's some hope in this video.
Fear of things going awry around them, then they get that level of security and protection where they can nest happily. Right. So I think that there's a biological degree in there as well as to why women are not seen in that manner as protectors, if they can protect themselves irrespective of owning a gun or calling the cops. And at the same time, like, first of all, if someone runs up on you, it's gonna be very hard to get a pistol off of your hip, right? And even harder to call the cops at that particular junction, right? So your first line of defense is going to be hand-to-hand combat, and just from a size component, way less women are capable of doing that as opposed to dudes.
I thought I had lost hope in everybody in this video, and yet he gets to the end and now he's speaking some sense and he's finally acknowledging biology. Like, okay, so there's hope for you yet. Like, you see what happens now? I'm starting to get more happy and the feminine comes out. You see, I just proved his point, because now I'm just like, okay, so what was the rest of this nonsense? I'm confused. Okay, so I've gotten through most of the video. I did skip around, so if I missed some nonsense, it's probably for my betterment. I'm a little confused on the direction that this man wants to go in, because there was a lot of misogyny projected in this video. There was a lot of just nonsense said throughout, and he's saying he supports every video that this person puts out. Like, he's an avid supporter of this man who made this video. So then I'm just like, well, what the hell? Because most of these questions were absolute BS. So how? It doesn't make sense. And then he gets to the end where he's actively acknowledging biology, but he was questioning why men were expected to be the protectors of their feminine counterparts. And it's just like, how did you miss the connection there? So I'm confused. If somebody in the comment section could remedy the confusion, that would be nice, because I'm just like, I want to give the guy props for the end of this video, because yes, it made a lot of thorough sense, but throughout this video, it really didn't. I'm just blown. But the questions and the nonsense here was inescapable and inexcusable, and I was just like, you guys need to see it too. Because as a person, as I said, who empowers and supports women, this was just completely counter to my message. And I mean, me in this video was a match made in hell. In the comment section below, let me know what you think of this video. As I said before, there are valid concerns and even double standards put at the feet of men that deserve a greater conversation. But this was not the conversation for it. This was not the way to have it. So I'm just saying. But put your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about the questions, what your answers would have been to some of these questions. If you know anything about this YouTuber, I really don't know anything about him. So whatever, let me know. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, and if this is your first time here in my court, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I would love to see you in a future court counsel where we may discuss practically anything. I love you and I will miss you, but you know I will be back in a future video. Bye!